Hi, I'm Maggie from Maggie Writes. Today I'm going to talk to you about the beat sheet method. This is a script writing method, but it can be adapted to writing novels. I prefer this as an outline method, and honestly it's actually changed my life since reading Save the Cat by Snyder. My writing is more cohesive, really am able to know where I'm going with my writing. First, I want to let you guys know that I am a new blogger, and I don't have a whole lot of videos on my channel, but definitely check them out if you're interested in hearing writing tips. There are 15 steps to the beat sheet method. I'm going to go through each one of them, and I'll explain each one of them for you, and I will give an example. The example I will be giving is actually Mean Girls, and it does follow the beat sheet method. It doesn't follow it linearly, but it does follow it very closely. We're going to begin with the opening image. And the opening image sets the tone for the movie. Basically, it lets people know what life was like before everything turned to crap. This is what we need to know because obviously the character is going to change throughout the novel. So in Mean Girls, we see Katie's before life. And Katie's before life is showing her parents doting on her. It shows before she met all the mean girls, before she went to public school. And Katie's life is pretty good, actually. She is excited to go to school. She can't wait to meet new friends, but something is going to change. Then we go to the setup. Now the setup is kind of an extension on the opening image. Again, we get to see what life is like before everything changed. And in Katie's life, she, like I said, everything is going great, but then she gets to school. She's almost run over by a bus. She mistakes a person for the teacher who threatens her. Then she accidentally spills coffee on the teacher. Finally, she has to eat lunch alone in the bathroom. There is a glimmer of hope when she spilled coffee on the teacher after she goes to find somewhere to sit, and Damien and Janice, who are her true friends, point out where not to sit. Next we move on to the theme stated. And the theme stated is when a character actually says the theme of the movie outright. This is very blatant and very obvious. It's not always so obvious when you're watching it, but it's obvious to the reader. And in Mean Girls, what we see is Janice say something like, "That's what friends are for." And Katie is just filled with happiness. She's like, I've got friends, and so she wants to hang out with Damien and Janice, and Damien and Janice are her true friends. Next we come to the catalyst. And easy enough, the catalyst is when everything changes for the main character. And here, this is where Katie is invited to sit at the plastics table. She doesn't really know if she's too sure about doing it, but Janice and Ian are like, go for it. Next we get to the debate. And the debate is where the character is trying to decide if they want to take the challenge. This is kind of illustrated in Janice suggesting that Katie hangs out with the plastics, and then they gossip about all the stupid stuff that plastics do. Katie's kind of like, I don't know about that, that doesn't sound right. After that, we get to Act 2, or what we call choosing Act 2. This is where the character chooses after they debate whether they're going to do the task or not. Katie is embarrassed by Regina at the Halloween party. Regina kisses Aaron, and she's kind of betrayed by Regina. So Katie goes to Janice and Damien and she says, okay, let's do it. I'm ready to sabotage Regina. Next is the B story, and the B story is a subplot. With most subplots, it's a romantic subplot. And there's a little romance in Mean Girls, but the subplot here is actually the mathletes, and that was actually introduced earlier. Like I said, this doesn't follow the beat sheet linearly, and it doesn't necessarily have to follow linearly. It's just all the parts that make for a successful story. After that, we get to fun and games, and fun and games is basically what you came to the movie for. And what did we come to Mean Girls for? Well, we came to Mean Girls to see Katie and Damien and Janice sabotage Regina. So they go around sabotaging Regina. These sabotages don't work. It's just, it makes her more popular and liked, and it's really weird. After that, we get to the midpoint. And in the midpoint of the story, the character's life is either really great or really awful. In Mean Girls, Katie has finally been accepted as a plastic. In fact, they're actually looking to her as the head plastic. They have kind of taken Regina down from her role. Next we get to the bad guys close in. So basically, bad guys close in is where things are starting to crumble. And the bad guys close in for Mean Girls is basically when Katie has her party and Damien and Janice come and they're really mad they haven't been invited. Also, Katie tries to make out with Aaron and Aaron isn't having it. He doesn't like what she's turned into, and then Katie throws up on him. That brings us to All Is Lost. And with All Is Lost, everything the character had, now she has lost. Katie admits to taking part in the burn book. She isn't trusted by her teacher, Aaron doesn't like her friends don't like her, and her parents sure as hell don't trust her. So Katie has lost everything at this point. Dark Night of the Soul is kind of similar. The character, again, has lost everything, and Katie is no longer popular. She's completely at rock bottom. Finally, we get to the third act, that's break into three. And here, the character kind of incorporates what the theme was at the beginning of the movie. That's what friends are for. So in order to improve her grade, her teacher suggests that she take part in the mathletes. And of course, Katie says yes, she can do it. Here she kind of learns about teamwork and being nice to people, and everything she's done wrong was just completely not her, and kind of all that mushy stuff. The finale is where we tie everything up in a nice bow. Katie has an epiphany and she realizes what the answer to the math question is, and she wins the tournament for the mathletes. We have the final image, and in the final image, everything is completely opposite than what it was like in the beginning. We see Katie sitting with a diverse group of friends. She's with Janice, she's with some of the plastics, and then we see Regina walk by, and Regina is a normal person too. She's no longer a plastic. So I hope you enjoyed kind of a blow-by-blow of the beat sheet method. It's a really good method that has worked for me in outlining stories, although one drawback is I'll say that it does make your stories sound a little like a movie. But we all have our stories going on in our heads like movies anyway, so what's wrong with that? And of course, I will link you to a website where the beat sheet is actually detailed. That's the Save the Cat website, and it's going to be down there in links. Also, don't forget to subscribe and to visit my YouTube. It's Maggie Writes, and it should be linked below.